It's a fantastic story.
It really is, and that's what caught my interest when I was told that. I thought, man, that would make a good story to know about. I just love these pictures and the stories that you have. Now, let's bring the people up there as far as what you know up to date on what's happened as a result of all of this. It's been 61 years.
Yes.
To this date, no one has proved or disproved that this boy did not shoot these ladies and ultimately himself. But they did give him a proper burial here recently, did they not?
Well,
the black boy.
The family, the Richard family's descendants, bought a memorial stone and placed it in the cemetery where Powder was buried. And it was to pay tribute and respect to him and to show that they did not believe that he was guilty of killing their family.
That's the descendants of the
Richards
family.
That's correct.
Now, when was that done?
That was done a couple of months ago on a Sunday
year.
This year.
Isn't that something?
On a Sunday afternoon, and it wasn't announced. If it had been, we would have had a large attendance, but as it was, we had between 40 and 50 people who came.
Just came in, and it wasn't even talked about.
We had, that's correct.
Isn't that something? Well, now, one step further now, since that time, it's still unsolved. The Richards ladies were killed. The boy was blamed, the town, and then therefore the descendants of the family felt like he was not guilty.
Sure.
They gave him a proper burial now with a permanent marker. At that point, what's actually happened? Is anyone still trying to figure out what happened, or what's going on now?
Well, actually, it was just something that developed when they began to talk about one of the relatives inherited a lot of newspaper stories, and when they did, they showed those newspaper stories to Sam Brown and here in Knoxville, and Sam has won a great honor for Edward R. Merrill Award because of that story. And he was so fascinated by it, he began to open it up and to think about maybe having it investigated. So he gave it to the TBI and to the chief of police there in Oliver Springs and asked them to go into it. And then as they began to develop their case, a witness came forward who no longer lives in Oliver Springs, who had moved away because that he became kind of emotionally involved with a murder, and his parents sent him to another town, changed his name, and so Sam was able to find this gentleman and talk with him and obtain some information from him, which made the case to be opened afresh.
So it's open now?
It's open now.
Is there any possibility that it might ever be solved?
I have no idea because I have no knowledge. It's right, so at the time it's kind of classified.
Well, now at this point I understand there's a movie script being written on it, and bring us up to date on that.
Phil Dorr from Maryville, who has done some documentaries and seems to be very capable, has been writing some film drama for the movie, and he has sent it away and had it looked at, and I've been told and understand that they have sent it to the legal department, so they must be somewhat interested in it.
Well, that's good. And then I know that Sylvia Lynch, who is a professor up at college up here at LMU, I think she's at LMU, or at least in the school up there somewhere. She's going to do, or has done, a book on this. Now, it would be great if we had the final outcome of this thing to put in the story, because that could make another book maybe when it all comes out. But is she doing the book now?
Sylvia's doing the book, and we're very impressed with her ability.
Oh, she's terrific. She did a great book on Doc Holliday, and a lot of the Western outlaw people, including Wyatt Earp. And
the secret, I think, of her success is searching for the truth, all the legal work that she's followed up, and she's done a marvelous job. Well, I want to thank you once again, Sonny Harvey, for bringing these pieces with us, and also for sharing your vast knowledge and very articulate description of what's happened up to this point. And I want to thank you, and hope that you'll come back with us as time goes on. Thank you for having me. Thank you very much. And folks, if you want to write to me about the show here today, or about any other thing that we do here on Riders of the Silver Screen, your favorite cowboy stars, that kind of thing. And I hear from a lot of people, some people that like other cowboys better than I did, and that kind of thing, and I love hearing that.
write to me at the address that's on the screen right now, and I'll be sure and answer it and get back to you and let you know what we've got coming up here, hopefully, in the future. Before we leave you, Sonny Harvey from Oliver Springs, Sam Brown by Frosty here, you know Frosty on our show, said that Sam Brown was the best investigative reporter in this area and best that had ever been here. Those were his words, and I have to agree with him.
He certainly has done a lot of work on this case.
Well, he's going to be here on a show coming up very, I'd say sometime next month here on this show, and we'll talk more about what he found out and his view and his opinions and so forth of this unfolding drama as it continues to come. Thanks so much for coming. And right now, folks, as I said, write to me at the address on the screen, and we'll be glad to hear from you. Well, of course, there you had Mr. Harvey from over in Oliver Springs, and what a real vast amount of knowledge he has, not only about this particular murder, but about the history itself of Oliver Springs, an interesting little town. I go over there every once in a while to Hal Duncan recording studio over there, Cumberland Recording, and we do some work over there with Luke Brannon and them, and it's an interesting little place, and I hope this thing gets some closure here before too long. In the meantime, Frosty, good to have you up here with us, old pal.
Yes.
You ready to...
I'm 100% sure that Powder Brown was a victim and did not commit suicide on February the 5th, 1940.
60 years after the crime, a 16-year-old boy is cleared of 2 murder charges.
Contrary to reports of powder burns, did not have any powder burns at all. Not between his eyes, not on his hands, nowhere at all on his body.
Police reopened the case in October after a witness came forward. Ever since, sleepy Oliver Springs has become somewhat of a tourist attraction.
They met me at the door just about wanting to come in and look at the articles. And I've had telephone calls, especially around Nashville and all over the area.
Every curious visitor and longtime resident has a theory of their own about the murders.
Everybody's really interested in it, and most people I've talked to wanted Powder's name cleared because they think he's innocent and that he was afraid of guns and wouldn't have done it.
A small stone marker like this one was used to mark Powder's grave, but police say a few days after he was buried, the stone disappeared. Now that his name's been cleared, Powder will get a proper headstone just as soon as police can figure out where he's buried.
There has been a family member of the Richards sisters that has expressed an interest in placing a headstone on Powder's grave, and she's going to purchase that.
A final resting place for Powder Brown, bought by the Richards family, 60 years after he was accused of killing Anne and Margaret Richards.
We had 2 objectives. One, to prove the innocence of Powder Brown, and 2, to prove who was actually involved. We've done the first part. We've still got a lot of work to do.
In Oliver Springs, Lori Peranchape, WVLT, Volunteer TV News.
A local officer